Hi, Bob.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
We're good. Hey, we are here today. This video is for coaches, for referees, for parents, for everybody to get to understand what and how and why we do what we do in the Scout division.
We want to talk a little bit today about what's different about the Scout level football compared to what other levels of football we see within the Ute Conference and what you see on Saturday and Sunday on television.
So we're going to start out by talking to you. Yes, we allow our coaches to be on the field. And what does that mean? So the coach can be in the huddle. He can be part of the team. He's helping them. Because we have kids all the way through high school that break the huddle and go, hey, I'm on the right side. No, I'm on the left side. And you got coaches screaming from the other side of the field going, hey, Johnson, get over here.
Absolutely. It's a very stressful time. Playing football, if you've never played the game, while you're playing it, you're on the verge of being sick to your stomach at every moment. And it's that intense and it's that pressure-packed. But learning how to handle those situations and feeling that way is one of the beauties of the game. So we do allow the coaches at the Scout level, one coach is allowed to be on the field with a clipboard to help the kids call their plays, set their defense, get into the right spot, face the right direction, and other things
they
that they
don't
need
ever
to do.
go to the line of scrimmage and face the wrong direction, do they?
Once in a while it happens. Yeah, once in a while it happens. So,
hey, no, you're on this side.
but in order to have this work within the context of a game of football, we have to put some restrictions on those coaches as to what they can do and what the limits of their involvement are. So that's what we're here to talk about a little bit.
So, coaches in the huddle, 25-second clock, they break the huddle. Does that mean coaches stop coaching?
No, at that point, the coach can still assist and put the players into the right position that they're going to on the field. They can direct them and kind of move them around and so forth up until the center puts his hands on the football and the snap, or the beginning of the play, which starts with a snap, is imminent. Because once the center has his hands on the ball, the play could start at any time. And
so where does the coaches need to be at that point?
At that point, both the offense and the defensive coach need to cease their instructions. So they need to stop talking and back up behind the officials and out of the way of the play. So there's no set distance as far as how far back they need to go, but each referee will decide based on what they're observing in the game of that day, how far is a safe distance so that the coach won't accidentally become a 12th player involved in a tackle, because we don't have shoulder pads big enough for those coaches to wear.
So our we could probably, no, we're not with supply chain.
No, don't even go there.
Okay, our rule actually says the offense and defensive coaches must be positioned 10 yards behind the official at the snap of the ball. They cannot participate in the play, including calling audible or plays once that center has grabbed the football and he's ready to snap. He cannot coach anymore.
Correct.
Now, what about the coaches on the sidelines?
There are no limits there. They can yell whatever they want all through the play up until the snap. They can say, look out, Johnny, they're running left. They're going to come right at you. Or make that block, Johnny, and, get out there and, throw the ball or whatever. Any coaching from the sideline, verbal coaching from the sideline, is appropriate, just as it is in older age football divisions. So
Okay.
no problem there.
Violation of the rules. So we get very specific. The first time a coach does this, he gets a warning. Okay? There's no penalty. Coach, once the center touches the ball, you go behind us, get out of the play. The second warning, now that becomes a 5-yard penalty. 5-yard penalty assessed against the offending coach for being inclusive of the play, which he shouldn't be. But the third warning, now, Coaches, that is an automatic 15-yard penalty, and you're ejected from the game. Now, that's a hard rule, but you need to stay out of it. These kids are only going to learn by making mistakes, and it's okay if they make a mistake. But first warning, no penalty. Second warning, 5 yards. Third warning, 15-yard penalty, and you get the thumb.
And it's a harsh penalty. We agree. It's a very harsh penalty. So please take the warnings seriously, coaches, as you're, if you are involved in the play. And the referee will likely just remind you and not issue an official warning. You'll get talked to a little bit, and then down the road, an official warning will come. But remember, and it's hard. We understand how hard it is to restrain from wanting to assist and help these players succeed at the critical seconds that they're involved. But Jeff is absolutely right. The game of football is a game about failing and learning from those mistakes. And so that's how the players remember their mistakes and how to correct them as they get older. And
this is our instructional league that we allow them to participate in playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do it differently. No kickoffs.
Right.
No punts.
Right.
Why do we do that?
Well, why don't we kick field goals in the Bantam age group? Why don't we, there's all kinds of reasons, but the game of football is a game of evolving skill. So the first thing we need to do is learn how to put on our equipment properly and strap up our chin straps and put on our shoulder pads the right way and put the pants on so there's, front in the front and back in the back. And then we learn how to run in that equipment, and then we learn other things as we progress. And we're in a part of that progression where the kicking game just isn't critical to our success in enjoying and learning about the game of football at the scout age.
But we can also take 5 to 7 minutes of a 15-minute quarter just lining them up.
Yes, exactly. It can take an awful lot of time, and there's an awful lot of the collision injury that we see in the game of football occur during these special teams plays when the players are spread out across 80 yards of playing field and the distances between the players are greater. The chance of injury goes up significantly. So we feel that at the scout age, let's focus on the simple basics of the game and take the kicking out.
Where do we start? Where is the first line to gain, or first line of scrimmage to start their line to gain 4 down?
Well, on a scout field, we play on an 80-yard field, 80 yards from goal line to goal line. So every possession, every new series of downs that that a team gets after a change of possession will start at the 40-yard line.
40-yard line.
With just one exception. There's only one exception to that rule.
There's always exceptions.
Always exceptions, but
come on, Bob.
Every new series will start at the 40, and a team will have a chance to then gain 10 yards, get a first down, until they eventually reach the opponent's end zone and score a touchdown.
Oh, well, for you parents, especially ones that are brand new, and a lot of you old parents, no, we're scoring a touchdown in our end zone, right?
No. You're defending your own end zone.
Explain that.
Well, the terminology of football divides the field in half, and each team defends its own end zone and attacks its opponent's end zone. So whenever a touchdown is scored, that's the ball being carried or passed into the opponent's end zone. So when we say that you're going toward your own end zone, that means you're going the wrong way. If you're going towards your opponent's end zone, then you're moving forward and advancing the ball.
Back to that exception on the 40, starting the ball at the 40, or resetting the ball at the 40-yard line.
Yes.
What is that exception?
The exception involves only a live ball turnover. Now, a live ball turnover is one of two things. That's an interception or a fumble recovered by the defense. So if you have an interception or a fumble recovered by the defense in the attacking opponent's part of the field, in their end of the field, and you take possession beyond your 40-yard line, as you're attacking the end zone, then you may start from that point with that advantage of being in the defensive team's end of the field.
So can a team on defense So can a team on defense intercept the ball and return it for a touchdown?
Absolutely.
They can return it for a touchdown.
Absolutely.
Then do they get to run for extra points after that?
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. So the ball, you're on your 40-yard line. First down, you take a loss of 5 yards. So now you're on the 35-yard line, your own 35-yard line. We run second down. There's a fumble. He fumbles, the ball is recovered by the defense on the 33-yard line. Where do we start the ball?
Right there at the 33-yard line, going toward the what was the original offense's goal line. So the team will take possession in the opponent's end of the field at the 33-yard line.
So
now,
it doesn't come back to the 40.
No,
Doesn't
not in
restart.
that case. Not in that case. However, let's flip the field around. We're at the 40. We gain 5 yards on first down. Now we're at our opponent's 35-yard line. And on second down, we fumble, and our opponent gains possession at their own 33-yard line. In this case, because we are in the recovering team's end of the field and their defending end of the field, we will bring the ball back to the 40.
Back to the 40.
Start at
so
the 40.
Maximum length of a drive for any scout will never be more than 40 yards.
That's correct.
Nobody will ever start minus 10 or minus 15.
Unless they have a penalty that places it there.
But that's not a start.
That's after the start.
Yes. So, okay, hopefully that clears that part of it up. Now, the next part of this that we have to discuss is defensive alignments. We had, in our first couple years of the scout game, our average scout game is only 25, 30 plays.
It takes a long time to get a bunch of 7-year-olds to listen to something. I don't care what it is.
Absolutely. So now, we had nose guards knocking over the center, and we'd have 25 plays, and 20 of them were fumbles between the quarterback and the center. It wasn't really a game. So we had to change our alignments so that we had fewer snap problems so we could have a real game.
Correct. This is part of the growth and the evolving of football as the kids move from younger to older divisions. Is the rules will change as we go. This is one of the rules that's unique to the Scouts because the very first and most fundamental exchange of football between players that occurs in the game of football is called the snap. It's where the center hands the football back through their legs to the quarterback or passes it back to a back in shotgun formation. So either one is an acceptable way to start a play, but unless you get this executed correctly, nothing else that you do matters in the play. So what we're trying to do is to create some continuity and allow more successful plays to be run beyond a simple center quarterback exchange. So
where can the defensive line up?
So to respond to that, the defensive line is restricted from lining up head on over the center and in the A gap between the center and the guard. The player next to the player snapping the ball is usually called the guard. So if you're lined up either in the gap between the guard and the center or head up over the center, that's an illegal alignment in the scout division on the line of scrimmage. If you want to line up in that area directly in front of the center or in the A gap between the center and the guard, you must be at least 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage and not have an X on your helmet. Because if you're an X-man, you must be on the line of scrimmage. Therefore, an X-man must line up either head up on the guard or wider than that. So if you're not head-to-head, not head-to-shoulder, but head-to-head with the guard, then you're legal to be on the line of scrimmage in the scout division.
So I am an X-man. Look at me.
For sure.
I'm an X-man. I'm lined up, head up on you, Bob. You're a guard. The center is right here.
Mm-hmm.
When the play starts, I can crash the center.
Absolutely.
I can crash the center. My linebacker, I can have two linebackers right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
They can be in the gap or on the center. They just have to be 1 yard back.
Correct.
And they can crash the A gap or the center
Correct.
at the snap of the play.
Correct.
They just have to be 1 yard off the ball.
Correct.
You know, we started this out with 2 yards off the ball. That's an awful lot of space to cover for little tiny guys. They weigh 40 pounds. It takes 3 steps.
Yeah,
2 yards.
and obviously in the scout division, one of the first plays that the offense will learn to execute is simply a straight run right up the middle behind the center. So that's one of the first plays that kids learn to execute. So
What's that play called, John?
Wedge.
Wedge.
calls it the wedge.
The wedge.
It's usually a successful play.
Quarterback sneak.
But we need to give the defense an opportunity to stop
defend
that
it.
play and defend
Yeah.
it. And that's the reason for Jeff's comments about crashing and the alignment. And also, we need to allow the offense the chance to begin their play with a completed snap and not have the center live in fear that he's going to be completely canned every time he begins his snap.
Snap.
So this
now
gives
let
him a
me
chance.
let me ask you a question. We got a team that's running the wedge on us, and we've got 2 linebackers, either head up or in the A gap. Can those linebackers dive at the center's knees to try and make a pile?
No,
No, they cannot.
no.
Why?
That violates the free blocking zone rules of football. No players at any time, unless they're on the line of scrimmage within what we've defined as the free blocking zone, can block below the waist. You must begin on the line of scrimmage in order to block below the waist, either as a defensive player or an offensive player.
So, I'm the X-man, head up on you, the guard. Can my first step be towards the center at his legs?
Yes.
That is how you stop that. If you want to make a pile, it has to be executed out of the person head up over the guard, taking his first step down towards the player. It's no different than our older age groups that you cannot block below the waist after one critical step.
Right. It has to be on the initial move also.
The initial
The
move.
initial move must be toward the legs in order for it to be legal. If your X-man who is lined up on the line of scrimmage over the guard stands up first and then dives at the legs of one of the linemen, that's an illegal block also. It must be immediate. So out of his stance, he must go directly at that player's legs if he is going to execute a legal and safe block below the waist. Otherwise, the factors of injury and danger come into play.
So this is our instructional teaching league. This is where we want kids to fall in love with it. We do not want 7-on-7 football. We want these kids playing 11-on-11 football. And it's amazing. I've seen scout teams that can throw it around the yard. They can play catch with each other, and they execute at a high level. But again, it is our beginning, and we want these kids loving it. We want them playing 11-on-11 football. It's real football. Now, we touched on it briefly. We don't have the kicking game because we want the kids getting the number of snaps, the most number of snaps. That's where the game is learned. Like you said very nicely, we get a lot of injuries, or the injuries go up when anybody's hitting each other going full speed. That's what the kicking game is all about. So, John, you coached the scout division for a lot of years. Anything we've left out?
Coaches, when the center touches the ball, what happens?
Get out of the play.
Got to be quiet.
Be quiet.
You got to be quiet. That's the big thing.
If you're a coach on the sidelines, encourage, yell to your heart's content. But if you're going to be on the field, get out of the play.
And then lastly, our philosophy as officials at this level of football is that we want the kids to experience the 6 seconds of excitement that occurs during a play and to give it their all during those 6 seconds in a fair and equitable manner. What we don't want to do is interrupt the game every play with a penalty flag. So,
this is a great point.
So we generally allow the littler guys to wiggle a little more than the older kids do. The wiggles that you see in these players are due to the fact that they're standing on uneven ground, wearing equipment that they've never worn before in their life. It weighs a lot. It messes with their sense of balance, and people just wiggle and they try to get comfortable and things like that. And the biggest comment that we hear from behind the ropes and from coaches during the scout age games is simply these 2 words: he's moving. Yes, he is moving, but it's not necessarily a penalty unless it becomes a false start. Now, a false start is different than a wiggle, and we will be calling false starts, but we try not to call the wiggles, and we try to let the kids play the game and experience
Everybody
it.
wants the wiggles called on the other team, but they don't want them called on their own team.
We're really good at watching that other team wiggle because we can spot them a mile away. But even at the high school level, little wiggles still occur, and you don't see them as well from the stands as you do in the scout age game, and they're not as large as they are in the scout age game. But it's going to have to elevate itself to the level of an advantage gained or a disadvantage being placed on the other team before we're going to call that as a penalty. And I hope that makes sense to everybody.
We appreciate the officials.
Thank you.
The Scouts are our hardest division
By far.
to officiate.
By far.
Coaches, as John says, puts his hands on the ball, you're out. 1 warning, 2 warnings, 3's not a good one. You don't need to be part of the play. Let these kids have a blast. Let them learn the game of football, because once that final whistle bowls, they stick the ball up in the air. What's the first thing they say, John?
Where's the snacks?
Where's the snacks? Where's my treats?
Oreos.
That, and that never changes, Jeff. We still do that as referees at the end of the game. Where's the snacks?
Okay. This concludes our scout video. Parents, coaches, referees, please take this 20 minutes and watch this, because this is valuable information as to the way we handle the scout division in the U Conference. Bob Milam, Jeff Gorange, John Thunder Halliburton, we're out.
Thank you.